Yo, it's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How is everybody? And finally, we've got some price action to talk about, albeit to the downside. But either way, we've got some things to talk about. We've got some movement on the station, and I've got some updates on the blockchain miners for you all. Argo blockchain, Marathon Patent Group, and Riot blockchain. So let's talk Bitcoin miners. But before we do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new and you like keeping up to date with the blockchain miners on the charts, and click the notification bell if you so desire. All right, so Argo first. Now, this had to happen, right? You know, I think in my previous videos, if anyone had watched it, we kind of went from a ascending channel here, which was fairly steady, to a parabolic uptrend, right? You know, and if anyone's been in the market any time, these sort of movements cannot happen forever. And essentially this movement ended when Bitcoin cooled off a little bit. So we always knew that was going to happen, that a blockchain mining stock, especially a low market cap one like this, when they go parabolic with Bitcoin, they're eventually going to retrace with Bitcoin. So we've seen a bit of sideways action here, and then today especially we've seen a fairly large red day, and we're back down. Where do we close the day? At 71 pence. So we saw as high action as 135, I think maybe even 140 at one point, back there on the 8th of January. And so in a couple of days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trading days, we've taken a turn of about 50%. So that's pretty much a decent correction. Now, there's a couple of things that can happen, and you can see that I've drawn some arrows on the chart based on this upper trend line of the original ascending channel. So that's kind of telling me where it could go at the lowest, if it's going to correct fully based on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin turns around tomorrow and goes up again, I think we'll keep going sideways, maybe a little bit up. We'll probably gain a few percent. But if Bitcoin keeps correcting, I think that Argo could go as low as 35 cents and kind of tap out on this line. Or if we zoom in here and see that 50 MA, the 50-day moving average close, that's also about 35. So maybe 40 cents. But that's, to me, an opportunity. I think I would potentially buy more if it dipped down to 35. I would definitely buy more if it closed this gap here between 19 cents and 23 cents, where it gapped up here. If it wicked down there, or if I and I think I'm actually, now I talk about it, I'm going to set a notification in my broker for that I load the boat again, because if it gets down to 20 cents or 20 pence, my next price target is $1.80. And I think that's kind of a fair price for Argo blockchain based on what the price of Bitcoin will be, based on what I feel they'll be mining throughout the year. I feel that $1.80, £1.80, will give it a fair market cap for its earnings. So it'll still keep it in a 10 or under price to earnings. Now, I do believe that it will fire above $1.80 and kind of hit somewhere in the $3 to $5 to $7 range for a short period of time. But I believe that it will eventually rest somewhere around the $1.80, because I think that will be that kind of, 10 P ratio or under, based on Bitcoin being, average of 50 to 60K per Bitcoin they've got across the year. It was some rough maths, but that was my price target on a back of a napkin, trying to figure out where they would be at. Now, give or take, right? So $1.80 is kind of my long-term average target for the stock, of where I think it'll settle to, maybe a bit lower, maybe a bit higher. But in the short term, definitely seeing the potential for a larger pullback. So if you're bought at the top, just hold tight. I don't think it's the worst entry point, anywhere from $60 to a pound there. Even if you bought at the very top, so be it. That's fine. Just hold on. These things happen. I've done it before. I've bought cryptos at the very top and had to wait hundreds of days for it to correct, and then for me to get my my account into the green again. So it's okay. But I tell you what, if you have bought up here and you want a dollar cost average in, 35 is a great time to do it, and potentially that 22 or lower is also a great time to do it. So that's Argo Blockchain. That's what I see. Follow them on Twitter, Argo Blockchain. The CEO there is very transparent. He's answering questions. There's a lot of information there to help you understand the business and what happens. But essentially, no matter what is happening right now with the price of Bitcoin, they are selling them at a very good price and a very good margin. So they're selling them and making a 70% profit on them. And as the price of Bitcoin goes up further and it stays at 50,000 or above, that margin will increase and increase and increase, because their fixed costs aren't essentially increasing. They may have the odd cost or expense that gets thrown at them, but in general, their costs are going to be fairly fixed with power, computing, resources, labor, contracting, whatever it is, professional services. And as Bitcoin goes up, their profit margins will increase. Now, yes, the mining hash rate will go up, so therefore the problem will be harder to solve. But the one thing for sure is that for every Bitcoin they sell, they will be making more margin on them. So while the price is dipping, they aren't making any less money. So once they release their earnings, it's going to show that month on month and quarter on quarter and year on year that their revenue has increased dramatically. So keep that in mind. Now let's switch over to MARA. Now I haven't really had a deep look at this chart, but I think we're okay with MARA. I don't think we're going to see anything real crazy, as in we've got a channel going on, so we've been inside a range for quite a while anyway. So I think that's it. I think whatever Marathon Payton's done today, it's corrected today, and over the last few days, sorry, it's corrected down to the lower edge of this ascending channel. So I think the next target for Marathon Payton Group is up in the 40s to 50s, right? So that's my next sell target. It always has been. I'm 50% out of my position. I'm very happy that I've sold a lot of it up in this zone here, and that was always my plan, was to sell a decent amount out of it. I put that all into gold, silver, copper stocks. It's, they're sitting there waiting to pop off. Now, if Marathon was to take a dip below $10, yeah, maybe I might load the boat a little bit, but I don't see the percentages there. I think it would have to get down below $5 for me to actually start accumulating Marathon Payton again, because I do have that low kind of $250 dollar cost average there from way back here when I was buying it and went all in on it basically in this region. So that's my thing with Marathon Payton Group. I think if you were like me and you managed to take some profits here, well done. If you didn't, well, just hold tight again. It's going to go up above 50, I believe, and I believe it's probably going to reach out as high as that $100 mark at some point in the Bitcoin bull run, depending on how bullish Bitcoin is. But I can definitely see this this $45 target in the near future, depending on what Bitcoin does. Let's see what happens. We'll watch this space. Now, RIOT blockchain, maybe a little bit different, but yeah, I think having a look at RIOT there, what have we done? We've pulled back 38%, so we haven't pulled back as much as, say, Argo blockchain has. We've still got this 50 MA here, so sometimes things like to wick down and test this 50 MA. Going back to MARA again, where are we at? Still, that $10 range is the 50 MA. So there's still that potential to wick down a little bit further, depending on if Bitcoin corrects again and has that lower correction down towards 27,000, which I'm kind of anticipating. But if Bitcoin continues to go up, I think once again, Riot has kind of done its little test, or it's probably even broken out of its ascending channel there, right? So if you look at this is where we were playing. This was the playing field. So yeah, that's where we're at. We've kind of broken through that channel. So possibly a little bit more weakness in Riot, possibly a potential to fall a little bit lower. I think this support level, well, 10's the kind of volume, the strongest volume support level, but I think anywhere in this little range here, 16, 17 is probably a good little resistance zone. You can see a large accumulation of price action and closes here around the 17.22 range. So I think that if it's going to fall any more in the short term, that's where it's going to land. If you're not in the stock, it's a good buying opportunity. If you're bought in, between 10 and 15, it's not the worst accumulation zone for me. It's not a buy zone. Once again, I think it would have to dip below $5, maybe $7 or $8 for me to start thinking about buying it again, because at the end of the day, I think it's only ever going to extend out to maybe 150 at the most. So if I buy it at 10, that's a 15x for me. If I buy it at 20, it's only a 7.5x. So if I buy it at 17, it's, maybe a 10x. It's not as big a play for me when what I'm rolling into is really undervalued. Gold miners at the moment, which are doing the same thing right now in accumulation zone, the way Riot, MARA, and Argo blockchain were back in this zone, in this kind of August through October zone, right? So that's where I'm at. That's where the Riot blockchain, the Marathon Patent Group, and the Argo blockchain are at. Quickly look at Hive. Yeah, it's doing the same thing. Probably hasn't had as big of a correction, but it's definitely going to go sideways with Bitcoin if Bitcoin goes sideways, and potentially go back down to that $1 mark if it decides to test that 50 MA. But in general, these things are expected. Large parabolic rises up always have corrections in bull runs, especially at the parabolic end of the bull run. So just be aware that that's what's happened. That's where we've come from. That's where we're going. And yeah, like if you didn't get in before these parabolic rises, look forward to some good buying opportunities, because at the end of the day, if let's say Argo is going to go to $1.80 and that's the ceiling, and you're buying at 35 cents, that's still a good 5x, right? And the same with MARA. If you can get in at $10 and it's going to go to 50, it's still a 5x. And Riot, same deal. If you can get in at that $11 mark and it's going to go to 100 or 150, it's a very decent reward and return. But I guess I'm a little greedier in my trading, and I'm looking to get in early and take those larger profits, or scale out along the way, so that my last final sellout is a large 20x, maybe 30x pull out of the stock totally, and then play it all over again on the next bull run, hopefully, depending on what happens and how the halvening goes. But these crew could easily move over to mining other coins beside Bitcoin and making money as well from those markets. So that's that. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm very, very confident that either one, we're going to have a decent correction to create some buying opportunities, or we're going to just bounce off the retracements we've had of like 40 to 50% and just kind of slowly edge our way up again until Bitcoin goes parabolic. So I think the worst of the correction's over. And like I say, if there is more of a correction, just be cautious and dollar cost average down through that correction and then back up the other side, or kind of just play it out, sit on the sidelines, watch, wait and see. You know, if it drops another 10% tomorrow, then you might kind of decide to pull the trigger then. Yeah, so that's it for now. Situation normal. Bitcoin's going sideways, if not correcting a little bit deeper, and the rest of the altcoins are following that trend as they do. So I think this is kind of a normal thing for the market. You know, the total market's flirting with all-time highs. The altcoin market is not quite flirting with all-time highs, but wants to get up there. Ethereum has broken all-time highs and is pulling back. So it's kind of in that transition zone. Do I want to be super bullish, or do I want to just flirt around that, you know, that new territory? And this is what happens. This is what Riot did. This is what Argo Blockchain did. This is what Marathon Patent Group did at the beginning. They flirted around, went sideways for a while until they figured out, no, actually I want to go bullish. I want to be all in on this, and then the rest is history. We went on an absolute tear for the last couple of months. You know, since mid-November, it's been a great journey to watch blockchain miners just rule the show. You know, like just own the floor in the stock market. You know, and be under the radar. You know, it's like you start seeing articles coming to you, Google alerts every day of like, is this a buy? Should I buy this then? It's like, no, you should have bought it back in August and November and August and September and October. That's when you should have bought it. But you know, I think the Wall Street wakes up when they see things go up in straight lines, and they're like, holy, what is this? And then they kind of, get a bit short on it as well. But in general, it's the first leg of 2 solid legs, maybe 3, depending on how it plays out with Bitcoin corrections. But I definitely see these legs happening again, and reaching out to some larger targets. So loving the blockchain miners. They've been the reason for my portfolio's success, and it's been the strongest and boldest move that I ever did was to go all in on 3 stocks, and then now branching out from the profits of those into a large diversified portfolio of mining in general, whether it be mining Bitcoin or mining precious metals. It's definitely a mining portfolio that I've created, which I'm very, very happy about. So yeah, please ask me any questions in the comments, and I will see you on the next one. And hopefully tomorrow is a green day, and hopefully Bitcoin does its thing. But I think there's a good chance that we've got a sideways consolidation period for the next few days, which is fair enough because we've just been absolutely tearing for the last month or so. Anyway, I've been Jared. This has been Crypto Plan. Please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.